guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been some time since my last motherhood related video and I'm looking to kickstart this series again today with a video talking a little bit about how I manage my toddler's big feelings. I'll be talking about a 3-step approach that I use whenever my toddler Noah demonstrates or shows that he's having some trouble handling or managing his emotions. But before I start elaborating on these steps, I'd first like to say thank you to HP Instant Ink for sponsoring this video. If you guys are wondering what HP Instant Ink is, it is basically a subscription service where you pay like an amount a month to get like printer ink sent to your home. And this is really good because you get the ink delivered before you even run out, so you prevent any situation of ink emergencies. What's more, HP has a whole library of free downloadable printables which come in super duper handy. I've even found printables that help with managing emotions and I find them super duper useful, especially for Noah, who's a very visual learner. I'll be sharing more about this later on in the video. You can check out their website to find out more about this wonderful service. They are offering a 3-month free trial at the moment, so you can just sign up and cancel at any time without obligation. I'll be leaving all the details in my description box below so you can find it there. Toddler tantrums are very common, especially at this age, 2 going 3, as they're trying to figure out the world, trying to figure out themselves and their emotions. While it may be difficult for the child, it actually is more stressful and I'd say more difficult for the parents who are trying to deal with these emotions. How we react to a child's emotions actually has a very big impact on their emotional intelligence, and that is why it is so important as parents especially to really have a good sense of how to react in a very stressful situation, when the child is having a meltdown. I feel like it's very important for myself and for us parents to give our kids a very safe space to be able to feel what they feel freely. So the first step to actually dealing with the emotions is to first recognize it. I'd say that that's the most important part of this whole thing about managing their emotions, because I don't want to be telling Noah to stop feeling that way. If he feels that way, he feels that way, but I think it's not right for us parents or for me as a mom to put down how he's feeling. So it's very important to first acknowledge his emotions and help him to identify how he's feeling. And in that situation, I can really empathize with him and allow myself to be put in his shoes so that I can connect with him on that level. A child who's being punished for a meltdown might feel anxious the next time he gets angry. A child who's being ridiculed for being scared might feel ashamed the next time he feels scared. When we teach kids to identify their emotions, we're essentially providing them a framework that helps them understand how they feel, and in turn this makes it easier for them to deal with their emotions in a very socially appropriate manner. By the age of 1 going to 2, parents can actually already start with some age-appropriate approaches. For example, printing printouts like such with different emotions. I like to stick this in Noah's nursery. This really helps him to identify how he's feeling at a particular point in time and to know that feeling in a particular manner is completely understandable, very normal, and it's really okay. So after identifying their emotion and empathizing with the child, telling him like, I know you are upset, it's okay being upset. I know you're angry, it's okay feeling angry. I think the next step would be to help him to identify his triggers and then, find coping mechanisms. This is another printable that I find very cute and very helpful. This is also from the HP's Printables page. It is basically a little chart showing like what do I do when I am angry, basically showing a child like things that he can do to kind of cope with his emotions, such as anger or fear. So for example, he can talk to an adult, he could draw, he could take a deep breath, he could count to 10, he could walk away, he could drink water. Noah loves cold things, so playing with ice is something that we like to do, especially when he was younger, to kind of help him manage his anger. Finding triggers for him or knowing what triggers him and what makes him angry also really helps a great deal, because one way to kind of manage it is to actually distance himself from that trigger. For Noah, something that we are really trying to manage is the feeling of disappointment. Noah is a very happy-go-lucky boy, and I wouldn't say he doesn't get angry, but it takes really a lot for him to get angry. So I think the more prominent feelings that we kind of encounter with him are feelings of disappointment. He loves, making plans in his head and charting out things that he's gonna do. So he really looks forward to them a lot, and he feels very disappointed, disappointed to a point where he may get upset. you know, if it doesn't materialize in the way that he envisions. For example, if he plans to ride his scooter to school, he actually like forget to put it in the car that very morning. He might actually have a meltdown at the point that he realizes that the scooter is not there, because that has been something that has been on his mind, you know, on the entire journey on the way to school. In helping him to cope with that, we first apologize, we say sorry, and we try to explain we actually forgot the scooter, not because we don't want to let him ride, but because we truly forgot, and that, you know, we will try to remember next time. We just allow him to feel what he's feeling, because his feelings are valid, and we try to manage it by letting him like look forward to the next thing. So we actually like get him out of the car and say, hey, look, your friends are waiting for you. There's like a lot more cars within your school compound that you can play with. And after a while, he actually internalizes these things that we're saying, and he's okay, and he actually forgets about, you know, how he was feeling previously. We try to avoid things like that from happening because we know what triggers him. So we really try to keep to our plans, and we don't make empty promises because we know that Noah remembers them, and if he is disappointed, then this is something that would cause a lot of distress for him. In essence, helping toddlers to avoid distressing situations or even distracting them from situations like such is actually a very effective way of, you know, emotional regulation, and this is a strategy that we've been using and that we find very, very helpful, especially for Noah. As Noah grows older, ultimately the aim is for him to be able to handle his own emotions, to be able to manage his own stresses, and to be able to, you know, self-regulate. So that's ultimately the goal, and I think while working towards that, it is very important for us parents to be role models and examples for him so that he can actually watch and follow. So it's very important that in a stressful situation or in a very heated environment, we ourselves stay calm and we ourselves know what our own coping mechanisms are. So for myself, you know, it's like removing myself from the situation or having a moment to just sit back before I say anything, or things that, you know, I know would help me cope. Noah is able to witness like the dynamics in the family and how things happen, especially in more difficult situations, and hopefully learn by example. Especially when managing toddlers' emotions, I think it's very important to first remain calm so that your toddler or your child feels like he's in a very safe space, and that, you know, everything is very under control, and that while his feelings are validated, he's really able to express them and not be afraid, even like think about holding back how he's feeling. And I think this is something that's very important as he grows older. I always hope for Noah to be able to come to me and come to us to talk about how he's feeling, even all the way, you know, till his teenage years. Actually, this is like really an ongoing process. Every single day there is an opportunity to talk to kids about emotions, and we really try to do that at every opportunity we can. So even looking at somebody from afar or a crying child in a mall, we talk to Noah about it. We tell him like, oh, he looks upset. He must be upset about something that might have happened, or like, oh no, he fell down and he might be in pain and that's why he's crying. So Noah can really empathize with how other people are feeling, and I think empathy is not something that's just thought, but something that's a learned behavior through experiences. So in summary, we take a 3-step approach to managing Noah's big feelings. First is to identify his feelings and, you know, empathize with him. The second that we do is to identify the triggers that cause these big feelings and try to avoid them where possible. And the third is to provide a framework for him, you know, to have an emotional outlet in an instance where these big feelings manifest. So this brings me to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you have any tips on how you manage your toddler's big feelings, feel free to leave a comment in the comment box below. If you have any other suggestions or topics that you'd love for me to chat about, also drop a comment below because I'd love to hear from you. See you soon! Bye!